That evening, Yetunde was tired in her bones. It wasn't the kind of tired that sleep could fix. It was that quiet kind, the one that sits inside you and makes even the air feel very heavy. She was sitting on the balcony, her feet up on the small stool, half dozing, half awake. The sun had gone down, but the heat was still in the air. Inside the house, she could hear the sound of cartoons, the same cartoon that has been running since afternoon. Her children, Chola and Femi, were on the rug, pencils and books scattered everywhere. The fan hummed lazily. It was just another evening in their compound. Then came the first knock, soft, almost like a mistake. Knock, knock. She opened her eyes slowly and frowned. Maybe it was one of the neighbor's children. She waited. There was silence just as she was about to close her eyes again. The knock came back, this time louder. Not rude, not angry, but firm. Tola, she called out. Go and check who is at the gate. Tola stood up, dragging her small feet on the tiled floor. But before she reached the door, she stopped and turned. Mummy, she said quietly, I don't like the way the knock sounds. Yetunde blinked. What do you mean by that? I don't know. It just sounds strange. Yetunde sighed, children and their talk. She stood up slowly, her blouse sticking to her back with sweat. She hadn't even changed from her office clothes. Her cream top had dark patches under the arms, and her black skirt still carried the dust from the bus she entered after work. She slipped her feet into her slippers and walked toward the gate. The knocking stopped as she reached it. When she opened the small gate, she saw a young woman standing outside. She was about her early 20s, maybe. Her eyes were swollen, her face streaked with dry tears. She was holding a small brown bag tightly to her chest like it contained her whole life. Good evening, ma, the girl said softly. Yetunde didn't answer immediately. She just looked at her. The girl's shaky voice, her dusty slippers, the way her fingers trembled as she spoke. Please, ma, she said again. Can I talk to you? It's just for a few minutes. Yetunde stepped out, closing the gate behind her. Who are you? My name is Adejoke, the girl said. It's about your husband, ma. My husband, Kunle? Yes, ma. The name hit Yetunde like a stone inside water. No splash, no noise, just a deep sinking. But her face stayed calm. What about him? She asked silently. Adejoke swallowed hard. Ma, I swear, I didn't know he was married. Yetunde's eyes stayed on her, cold and unreadable. Eh, eh, I was dating your husband, ma. I met him 6 months ago. Adejoke continued. I didn't even know his full name at first. He said he was single. He said he was still figuring out his life. That's what he always told me every time I asked. Yetunde didn't say a word. She only folded her arms and continued listening. Adejoke's voice started shaking. We met at ShopRite, ma. At the ATM queue, my card was acting up and he paid for my things. I thanked him and we separated. 2 days later, he found me on Instagram. I don't even know how. He said he searched my name from the receipt, that I looked familiar. From there, he started calling me, messaging me, sending me gifts. I thought he was just being nice. I didn't know it was going to turn into anything. She sniffed, using the back of her hand to wipe her nose. I'm so sorry. I don't have parents. I grew up with my uncle, but his wife never liked me. I've suffered, ma. When Kuli came into my life, I thought maybe this is my chance to finally be loved. But last week, a woman in my office told me that he knows you and that you're married to him. I didn't believe her until I checked. Everything matched: the car, the address, even his office. She looked down, voice breaking. When I confronted him, he got angry. He said I was doing investigations now. That was when I knew everything was real. I'm very sorry, she said, falling down to her knees. I don't even know why I came here, ma. I feel so guilty. I don't know I was hurting another woman. I just wanted to tell the truth. Yetunde stood there, hands still folded. Her expression did not change. Only her chest moved slightly with each slow breath. I don't know what you want me to do with this information, she said finally. Ma, I don't want anything, Adejoke replied. I just needed to tell you. I've made so many mistakes. I don't have a mother. I don't have a sister. Nobody to talk to. When I found out, I felt like I would die. I just wanted to see you and say, I'm sorry. For a long time, the street was silent. Only the sound of distant generators filled the air. Then Yetunde said quietly, get up. Adejoke stood slowly, her knees dusting from the ground. I'm not angry at you, Yetunde said. I've known for a long time now. The kind of man I married. You're not the first. Maybe you won't even be the last. Adejoke looked at her, eyes wide. Ma, no, I didn't come to steal him from you. I thought I found something real. That's what happened. But I see now, I was just another story in his life. Yetunde nodded once. It's okay. You can go now. Adejoke hesitated, then whispered, thank you for not shouting at me. Thank you for listening. She turned and walked away, holding the brown bag close to her chest. Her footsteps faded into the night. Yetunde stayed at the gate for a long time after she left. The street was quiet. When she finally went inside, the children were asleep on the rug. The cartoon was still playing. She turned off the TV and looked around the living room. Everything was normal, as if nothing had happened outside the gate. But that night, Yetunde didn't sleep. She sat at the edge of the bed, watching the ceiling fan spin slowly. Kule lay beside her, snoring softly, smelling of beer and strange perfume. She didn't cry, she didn't shout. She just sat there, staring into the dark. Because sometimes pain doesn't come like thunder, but sometimes it comes like a quiet knock at the gate. And once you open it, your whole life changes. 2 days after the girl came crying at her gate, Yetunde was already trying to forget it happened. She went back to her normal routine. Work, school runs, cooking, laundry, life continued. But that Saturday morning, as she was packing lunch boxes for the new week, the doorbell rang again. She wasn't expecting anyone. Kule had gone to the barber shop. The children were still in their pajamas, watching cartoons. When she opened the door, she froze a little. Adejoke was standing there again. She looked neater this time. Her hair was tied in a simple bun, her brown handbag hanging from her shoulder. She was holding a small nylon bag in front of her, like someone delivering a peace offering. Good morning, ma, she said, almost whispering. Please, I brought some snacks for the children. Caprisone and biscuits, she said, holding up a brown bag. If it's not okay, I can go. Yetunde stood for a few seconds, unsure what to say. The girl's eyes were calm. It's fine, you can come in, Yetunde said finally. Adejoke entered quietly. She sat on the edge of the couch, her legs together, her eyes darting around the sitting room like she didn't want to look directly at anything. Tola came out first, then Femi followed behind. Femi's eyes went straight to the nylon bag her mother kept on the center table. Mommy, who brought biscuits? Adejoke smiled. Me, you like biscuits? He nodded quickly and reached for one. Tola stood at the door watching. Mommy, is she sleeping here? No, Yetunde said, smiling a little. She's just visiting. Tola didn't reply. She turned her face away and walked back to the room. Adejoke gave a small laugh. She's sharp. I used to be like that when I was small, always suspicious. Yetunde smiled faintly. Children notice everything. For a while, they sat quietly. The only sound in the house was the cartoon from the TV and Femi tearing the biscuit nylon. When Adejoke stood to leave, Yetunde walked her to the door. Thank you, she said. It's nothing, Adejoke replied. I just wanted to check on you and say thank you for the other day. Yetunde nodded. It's okay. Take care of yourself. That was how it started. A week later, she came again, then again the next weekend. It became a pattern, not planned but steady. Sometimes she came with oranges, sometimes with bread or fruit juice. Sometimes she just came to sit and talk. If she saw Yetunde washing plates, she joined. If she saw laundry on the line, she folded it without being asked. She always greeted politely, always said, Ma, and slowly, Yetunde began to relax around her. The children too, in their own way. Femi grew fond of her because she always brought something small. Tola didn't still talk much to her, but she no longer frowned when she saw her. She would sit nearby pretending to be busy with her book, but her eyes always followed. One afternoon, Yetunde was in the kitchen frying stew when Adejoke spoke softly. Ma, you're always calm. I admire that. I don't know how you do it. Yetunde smiled without looking up. It's not calmness. I've just learned not to talk too much and not to bother myself with some things that I cannot change. Adejoke nodded slowly. I wish I could be like that. I react too quickly. Sometimes I even talk before thinking. Age will teach you, Yetunde said. And life too. Adejoke laughed lightly. I believe you, honestly. I didn't think you would ever talk to me again after what happened. Yetunde turned down the gas a bit. Why wouldn't I? I just feel ashamed, Adejoke said. After that day, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking how stupid I was. But then I remembered how you didn't shout. You didn't even insult me. I felt peace that night. I just wanted to come and thank you properly. Yetunde turned, looking at her quietly. Peace is good, she said simply. Yes, ma, Adejoke said, smiling. One Friday evening, Adejoke came with a small paper bag. I got something for you, ma, she said shyly. It's not big, just something to say thank you. Yetunde frowned briefly. You've started buying things for me now. What is inside? She opened the bag and saw a pair of slippers, soft leather with Ankara straps. It wasn't flashy, but it was neat and beautiful. They are lovely, she said. You shouldn't have bothered. The biscuits and the drinks you buy for us every time is enough. No, ma, I really wanted to, Adejoke said quickly. You've been so kind to me, and don't forget people who show me kindness. Yetunde smiled. Thank you. Try them on, Adejoke urged. Yetunde slipped her feet into them. They fit perfectly, light and comfortable. They are very soft, she said, walking a few steps. Adejoke smiled. You deserve something soft. Yetunde laughed quietly. Thank you, my dear. God will bless you. Tola had been standing in the hallway watching. Immediately Adejoke left. Yetunde walked towards her daughter. She saw her daughter's small face, serious and distant. Tola, what is it? The girl pointed at the slippers. Mommy, don't wear that thing again, no. Why? I don't like it. They are just slippers. Tola shook her head. I don't know why, but I don't like them. And I don't like that auntie too. Tell her to stop coming to our house. Yetunde sighed. You and your feelings. She's a good person. And she's always bringing things for you people. Tola whispered. I don't want her to bring anything for us again. Then she turned and walked back to her room. Yetunde sat for a long time in the sitting room, just looking at the slippers. They were beautiful, comfortable, and simple. That night, she placed them by the side of her bed neatly before lying down. She didn't think of anything deep. She didn't think about the past or the girl or the words her daughter said. She just lay still, tired from work, grateful for a peaceful evening. For the first time in a long while, there was no shouting, no argument, and no tension in the house. Just quiet. And in that quiet, Yetunde finally drifted off to sleep. Slipper stayed by the side of Yetunde's bed. Every morning when she woke up, she saw them there, neat, clean, and quiet. Sometimes when she swept the room, she would leave them aside, sweep that corner, and place them back carefully. She never wore them, not once since the day Adejoke gave them to her. Tola's voice always echoed in her mind. Mommy, don't wear that thing, no, I don't like it. It wasn't that Yetunde believed in such things, no. She just didn't want to upset her daughter. The slippers were too beautiful to throw away and too new to use, so she let them sit there, waiting. Days turned into weeks. Life continued quietly. Adejoke still visited them now and then, bringing fruits or snacks for the children. Sometimes she would sit and gist with Yetunde about work or TV shows. The visits were brief and polite. Kunle remained the same, coming home late, eating, sleeping, and leaving early. Nothing changed. Then one Friday evening, everything started small. It was the end of the month. There was no foodstuff left in the house, and the pantry was completely empty. Yetunde had just returned from work the evening before. Tired, she had planned to go to the market the next day early, before the sun became too hot. But that evening, The sky looked cloudy. She was rushing to beat the rain. Tola, hold your brother well, she shouted as she tied her wrapper. Don't open the gate till I come back. She bent to pick her handbag and noticed her usual slippers were missing. The old pair she used for errands was nowhere in sight. She looked around under the bed near the door. Nothing. The only pair close by was the one Adejoke gave her, the Ankara one, the one she had avoided for weeks. She hesitated, but the time was already going. She had to get to the market before 6 p.m. I beg, she murmured to herself. This slippers will not be by person. She slid her feet into them and left the room. The market was full and noisy. Hawkers were shouting prices, women dragging their nylon bags, traders arguing over small change. Yetunde moved quickly from one stall to another, pricing tomatoes, onions and pepper. She bought rice, oil and bread. She was sweating but happy she had managed to finish early. By the time she got home, it was almost evening. The children helped her carry her bags inside. She removed her clothes, wiped her face and went to bed. She kicked off the slippers and left them beside the bathroom door. The next morning, she woke up to find her right ankle feeling itchy. At first, she thought it was mosquito bite. She scratched it gently and got up to prepare breakfast. But as she moved around, the itching continued. It wasn't sharp, but steady. The kind that kept calling for attention. She looked down and saw a small red spot on her leg. She rubbed menthol balm and continued her morning. By evening, the itching had spread. The spot was now swollen, not big but noticeable. She pressed it lightly. It felt warm under her fingers. Tola, she called. Did you see any insect bite me when I was sleeping? No, mommy, the girl said. Did it pain you? Yes, a little. My leg is paining me. Maybe it's from market dust. That night, she rubbed balm again and tied a small handkerchief around it before sleeping. By the third day, her shoe felt tight. She removed it quietly under the desk and rubbed her feet. Her colleague, Bisi, looked at her. Madam, why? Are you okay? Yes, Yetunde said. Just shoe wahala. I think my leg is reacting to dust. When she got home that night, she didn't eat much. The food had started to feel heavy. Kule noticed her limping and asked, what's wrong with your leg? I don't know, she said. Small swelling. He shrugged and walked past her. The next day, she stopped by a small pharmacy near the office. She showed the pharmacist her ankle. I think it's just mild infection, he said. You people walk around too much in dust. Take these antibiotics and rub this cream. She nodded, paid and went home. That night she used everything. The cream cooled her skin and gave her relief. By morning, the swelling hadn't gone down. She sighed and kept quiet. It was Sunday again. The house was calm. The children were watching TV inside. Kule had gone out since morning. Yetunde sat on the balcony with her legs up on a stool. The swelling had climbed higher, now above her ankle. She frowned and massaged it gently. Adejoke came by later that afternoon with puff-puff and 2 cold drinks. You don't look fine, ma, she said softly. I'm okay, Yetunde replied. I'm just having small swelling. Have you seen a doctor? Yes, they said it's infection. Adejoke knelt beside her. You need rest. Stop stressing yourself. Yetunde smiled. Rest? With 2 children and a husband. Where is the time? Adejoke laughed lightly. That's true, ma. They ate quietly after that. The days after, the swelling didn't stop. It spread slowly. The foot began to feel heavy, like she was carrying something inside it. Walking became painful. She started dragging her right leg a little. She started wearing long skirts to cover it at work. Then one night, she took off her clothes and saw the skin had changed color. It was no longer smooth. Her heart skipped a beat. She rubbed balm again and whispered, it will go, it will go. Within 2 weeks, Yetunde had stopped going to work. She told her boss she was taking a short sick leave. Then she stopped answering calls altogether. She stayed mostly in bed, cleaning her legs with salt water and Dettol. Sometimes she sprinkled powder to hide the smell that was slowly coming. She didn't tell anyone, not even her mother in Akure. Kule barely spoke to her these days. He only entered the room to pick clothes or ask if there was food. When he started complaining about the smell, she moved to the guest room. Tola helped her clean the leg every evening. Mommy, don't worry, you'll be fine, she said. Yes, my baby, Yetunde would reply, smiling faintly. But sometimes, when she was alone, she would look at the corner of the room at those Ankara slippers lying silently near the bathroom door and sigh. She didn't know why, but each time she saw them, Tola's voice echoed again in her head. Mommy, don't wear that thing. And she would whisper softly to herself, maybe the girl was right. Then she would close her eyes and pray that by morning, the pain would be gone.
The days began to blend to each other. Morning, afternoon, night. They all felt the same to Yetunde now. She couldn't tell what day it was without checking the calendar. Her leg had gone worse. The swelling had moved past her knee. It wasn't just pain anymore. It was heat, a deep, steady burn that refused to rest. She couldn't cook, couldn't sweep, couldn't even bathe without help. Tola tried her best. The little girl cleaned the leg with soft cloth and fanned her mother when she broke into sweat. Femi too tried in his own small way. He would bring tissue, fetch cup, or sit beside her just to be near. Kunle noticed all of it, but he didn't even care. He didn't help. He just watched. At first, he would ask, how far with your leg now? Then after some days, he stopped even asking. He still ate in the house, still bathed, still dressed for work.
But the man's eye no longer looked at his wife.
He was more like a burden to her. Then one Thursday evening, Yetunde was lying on her mat in the children's room when she heard his voice from the sitting room. What was that smell? She kept quiet. He opened the door slightly, sniffed and stepped back. Ha! You can't stay in this my room anymore, he said sharply. The whole house is smelly. I can't even breathe here. I'll clean it, Yetunde said quietly. Clean what? You can't even walk properly. She said nothing again. She looked at him, her eyes tired. He hissed, picked his car keys and left. That was the first night he didn't come home. The next morning, Tola helped her mother tidy the mat. Mommy, I can't see daddy's car, she said. He will come back, Yetunde replied. Don't worry. But Kunle didn't come back.
Till 5 days later, it was a Friday evening.
The children had finished eating early. Tola had spread her mother's mat neatly beside the rug. The TV was showing a Yoruba movie, but nobody was watching. Around 8 p.m., Yetunde heard the gate creak open. Her heart lifted slightly. At least, he came back, she thought. She expected him to walk in alone, tired and moody like always. But when the door opened, her body froze. Kunle entered and Adejoke was with him. They were holding hands. Her handbag was slung over her shoulder, her hair neatly packed, her nails painted a soft pink. She looked rested, confident, like someone who had no worries in this world. Yetunde stared at them from the floor, her eyes wide, her body too weak to move. They looked like a couple returning from a wedding reception, smiling, whispering, laughing softly. Her red gown hugged her body neatly. Her gold earring glittered under the bulb. She looked nothing like the teary girl who once stood crying at the gate. When she finally entered her house, her eyes went straight to Yetunde. A small smirk appeared on her lips. She sniffed the air, frowned and covered her nose with her hand. What is that smell? She said loudly, turning to Kunle. Oh my God, this whole place smells terribly. How do you even live here? Kunle shifted uncomfortably. It's probably something in the kitchen. Adejoke scoffed. Kitchen? No, it's this whole house. It's choking. Then she waved her hand like she was cleaning bad air. Please open the windows. She walked straight to the bedroom, the same one Yetunde and Kunle used to share, and shut the door. Kunle followed quietly, saying nothing to his wife. That night, the house felt like a stranger's house. The children had seen everything. Femi cried softly into his mother's lap. Tola sat still, her small face tight with confusion. Go and sleep, Yetunde said to them quickly. Just sleep. Her own chest felt empty. She didn't even have the strength to cry. From that night, Kunle's behavior shifted completely. He stopped eating her food, stopped greeting her. Even the way he walked around her changed like someone avoided a bad smell. He moved his clothes into the guest room. When Yetunde tried to ask why, he said coldly, I can't breathe in that room. Your leg, this smell is too much. She wanted to tell him she was trying to clean it every day with Dettol and balm, but the words stayed trapped in her throat. He had already stopped listening. One evening, Yetunde was half asleep on her mat when she heard laughter again from the bedroom. Her heart sank. She turned slowly and saw Adejoke standing at the door. Her hair was loose. She held a white handkerchief to her nose. So you're still awake? Adejoke asked, her tone light, mocking. You should rest though. You look finished, auntie. Yetunde said nothing to her. Adejoke stepped closer, not too near. You know, you brought this on yourself. All this your I don't care, I don't care. You called it peace, right? Now see where your peace has put you. She smiled coldly. You said you didn't mind that day, right? That you weren't angry. Well, I hope you still don't mind because I'm not leaving. Not anytime soon. She looked around the parlor like she owned it. I can't believe you live like this. No style at all. You made it too easy for him to even forget you. Don't worry. I will take good care of him for you. Yetunde's lips trembled, but she said nothing. You won't last here much longer. I just wanted to tell you. Even Kule can't stand you anymore. He told me so himself. She laughed loudly and walked back to the bedroom, still covering her nose. That laugh stayed in Yetunde's ears long after the door was closed.
The next day, around 6 p.m., after Kule came back from work,
He was sitting on the couch scrolling through his phone. Adejoke came out of the room, fully dressed, neat as ever. Her perfume filled the parlor. Kule, she said, wrinkling her nose. I can't do this anymore. I can't even breathe well. I couldn't sleep all through the night. This smell is driving me mad. And I'm sorry, but I can't live in this kind of place. Either she goes or I'll go. Kule sighed deeply, rubbing his face. You know this situation is not easy. Then fix it, she said sharply. Because if you don't, I'll leave. And I swear I won't come back. She turned and walked into the kitchen, shaking her head. For a long time, Kunle sat quietly. Then he stood up, looked at Yetunde, who was sitting in a corner, trying to adjust her clothes, and said, You've heard her. This can't continue. I need fresh air in my house. Yetunde from Kunle, what are you saying? He cut her off. Don't start. You can't walk, you can't clean, you can't walk well. This house has turned into a soakaway pit, smelling all the time. I can't live like this again. Where will I go? She whispered. I don't know, and I don't care, he said flatly. But you can't stay here. He walked into the room, gathered her bag, threw in some clothes, and came out. Then he dropped the bag beside her. Your things are there. Better start packing before I lose my temper. She stared at him, speechless. Kunle. He didn't look at her. He opened the door and shouted, Tola, Femi, come and carry your mommy's bag. Oh. The children came out crying, Daddy, carry her back to where? Please, Daddy, please. Tola said, holding his leg. Move away, he snapped. Adejoke appeared again, leaning against the wall, smiling slightly. Let her go, she said softly. It's better for everyone. Kunle didn't argue. He dragged Yetunde's bag to the gate and dropped it outside. Leave my house, he said. I need some fresh air. Yetunde looked at Kunle, tears in her eyes. She walked slowly to the gate, her leg dragging against the ground, and stepped out. Behind her, Kunle closed the door without looking back. Adejoke stood by the curtain, watching, still holding her handkerchief to her nose. When their eyes met through the window, Adejoke smiled, calm, satisfied, victorious. For a few seconds, Yetunde stood still, staring at the gate, her breath shaking. Then she bent slowly, picked up one of the bags and said quietly, Tola, Femi, let's go. Tola's eyes were red. Mommy, where are we going to? Let's just go, she said softly. God will lead us. That was how Yetunde left Kunle's home, broken, beaten, and battered. Adejoke stood by the window that night, smiling like a queen who had finally won. She thought her plan was complete. She thought she had taken everything, but life doesn't forget. it only waits. And when it comes back to collect it, it doesn't knock. What Kunle and Adejoke didn't know was that peace built on another woman's tears never lasts. The same door they used to push her out will open again, but this time for consequences. Part 2 is coming soonest, I promise. Stick around because the table is about to turn and the evildoers are about to test premium karma. If this story touched you, don't just scroll past. Drop a comment, even if it's just keep going. It reminds us that you're part of this story family and it keeps us bringing you more premium gist every time. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button, like and share this video, and get ready because this story isn't over. It's just about to begin. Thank you so much for watching. See you in part 2.